Hello, good afternoon, good evening. Was going to stream a little bit more just because I kind of on a roll with building this, so I wanted to put a little bit more time into it. So that's what we are going to do. Might mess around with some of these settings. Maybe not. Cool. So yeah, we're gonna put a little bit more work into this. I have this stucco is all dry. I did on the side of here, but it might need another layer because there's a lot of apparent cracks, and it definitely needs a sanding. So that's thing. Um, Also want to work on some platform, like a platform. Oh, you can't see it here. Let me get into this. A platform right there. Um, and yes, I got some. I ran out of these paper straws that I like to use. They're just those compostable paper straws you can get. They're pretty cheap. Work really good as like structural components. So I might start thinking about something that lives, maybe a scaffolding. Would that be cool? That's a tough one. I don't know. Scaffolding with another layer of, I don't know, something like that. I'll scoot it back a little bit. Knock everything down. So, is that enough space to get my fat hand in to mess with a model? Not really. Oh, so yeah, orientation does have to stay like that. I wonder if I can. Is that the most awkward perspective? Probably. That's pretty bad. It does allow me to move this, and you get kind of a better angle. So yeah, let's try that again. Just thinking something this height, maybe. Let's get the good old ruler out, because that's the way I always do that. So these should be 3 inches tall, about, right? So we want this to land either at the 9-inch or the 6-inch. Now, if we do 6 inches, that is not enough hand space, in my opinion. Like if you got big, just making sure I got the setting right. Because this does actually look, I'm going to tilt it up a little bit. This does look pretty cool right here. So that could be a cool thing. Here we go. I got a better idea. So maybe platform up here on the top of one of these, and maybe on the top of this one. And then we'll do like another platform. Get this out the way. Another platform. Obviously not this big, but here. Then we can do a ladder up from here, and a ladder up from here, and you have access to all of that. Yeah, that's a good plan. Now, only issue is I don't want that to stick out very far. So I'm probably only going to go 2 or 3 inches when I cut this. So I'm going to tilt this back down. Hopefully it stays. If that falls, it's in a very precarious position. If that falls, I apologize. But it might. So I'm thinking we're going to start with 3 inches. We're going to do a nice chunk of 3 inch, and this is plastic cardboard. I don't know exactly what the term is they use it, but a lot of like signage in grocery stores and like all the signs that you see stuck in somebody's yard are usually made out of this stuff. So when they throw that away, I just snag it and I use it because otherwise it's like, you know, $15 a sheet, and then people just throw them away. I do not understand that. Like here I am, a crafter, and I'm can't afford to buy the craft thing, and people are just throwing them away. It's crazy. Okay, so square this up a little. We're gonna do a couple swipes through that because I have learned that it's pretty easy to push the square when you're making that cut. So I try to be gentle and kind of score a little bit. So I like how that looks. Boom. Does that stick out too far? Oh, let's get these guys balanced up here. I'll tilt it up again. Sorry. There you go. So that's an idea for the 2 platforms. This has plenty of space where I can get my hand still in it to manipulate most. It does make a weird... That was going to happen. Again, I apologize. I knew it was going to make a weird spot right inside of this window that you can't get to because of this piece. So I wonder if super tall, that's too tall, huh? Maybe I go like this. Let's grab this thing again and our pin just to give me, so what I'm gonna do, because I'm having an issue with what all the different platforms are going to be. So I'm going to go through real quick and I'm going to measure out where different floors for this scale of a building, the 28 millimeter or 32, you know, somewhere in that area. So it's approximately 3 inches. So I'm just going to do 3, 6, 9, 12. So now I have an idea of where I want those floors to end up, just for it to make some kind of sense overall logically. And what is that? Continuity. So if you have like continuity in your builds, like if you make sure all your floors are at 3 inches, it doesn't matter if the Space Marine is too big or whatever, because the rest of because the terrain matches itself, so that guy will just look like a really big guy. So as long as you have continuity with your terrain, your miniatures don't necessarily have to have continuity. It's better if they do have continuity with the terrain you're building, but it doesn't have to be that way. So I also noticed that this is at a weird level. So this lands right in between. It's not quite and it's not quite. If it was right there, do you think it would? You could look at your hand in there, and if not, you have a pretty opening here, opening here. I think that's doable. Now the question is, should I push it back there? Should I try to put? See, I don't really want to put posts around this particular bottle. Maybe up close to it would be good, but I don't want them outside of that space. Let me see if we can get a better view. I'll do this corner so you can see. So if I did a post down, it would end up somewhere out here. And let me grab a mini just to show you. Although you still would have space for a mini, this gives space for more minis. So it is a little bit more open. I'd rather have this behind him than out here. Also, when you put structure like out there, it's really easy for somebody to snag it and smack it, rip it off, that type of thing. It'll give it more support if it's closer here. So now these aren't long enough to go up the complete water bottle, so that's not going to work. But I do have some wooden dowels, and they are too long, so that might be perfect. That'll give it more strength here. I might even drill the dowels in and push them down. So there's a plan for that one. Now I just got to solidify my plan on this guy here, this platform. I don't definitely feel like I want to mimic the size of this space here, as opposed to having this lip that's going to hang over. I think I want to mimic that size. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably cut it right here. Right. Yeah, that'll be good. So I'll cut it right there. I'll slim it down a little bit. And I'm going to need to cut some of these into 6-inch tall, because I want that to end up right here. So push this out the way a little bit. Cut this stuff. This stuff is really cool because it has this corrugation. I don't know if you can see it. It's white on white, but it's just like cardboard. So if you need to cut it, one way in particular, you can square it off to that corrugation. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll just cut into it, and then any like little flangey piece that's left over, I'll just slim it back down to the other piece running inside, the like corrugated piece inside. Should be able to get. Oh, messed up that corner a little bit. It's all right though. Should be able to get it pretty square. Square out this other side, just for consistency's sake. Blam. So, there you go. It's pretty good shape. So that's gonna live right there, we'll say. So I'm gonna grab some more of these. I'm gonna grab these paper straws, what they are. And I'm gonna measure some up to. Sorry again. I gotta get this worked out better. So we're just gonna live right here for now, cause I keep dropping that. So I'm gonna cut some of these straws real quick at 6 inches. So these cut relatively easy. One of the reasons I like them. They do smash if you try to cut them with the scissors. Sometimes that's not a big deal. My razor blade is getting a little dull, but it's at its last piece, so I just need a new one. Bam. So yeah, feel free to throw anything out in the chat if you got any questions or any suggestions. This has been a full, it's been a build really inspired by the community. Had a few people asking questions, making suggestions. So there's 2 done. And that's really inspired me in this build. And so I'm really actually having a lot of fun. I'll probably keep doing some live videos just because I dig it. I really do dig the inspiration and the communication with the community. That's pretty fun stuff. But so the reason I'm doing this with the razor knife, or I could use the little razor saw too, but that leaves like little rough edges on the side, is I don't want to squish it with the scissors. But you can cut these really easy with scissors, just like snip. So I got some extra pieces which I will save for putting piping in later, and then exactly so I feel like mounting this one in the corner is going to be the best bet, because that's going to be a really strong. Well, before I mount anything, I should probably plug in my hot glue gun, because you're not going to get anywhere with a cold glue gun, huh? All right. So since I gotta wait for my glue gun to warm up, I'm gonna just set these aside, and I'm gonna square up this piece a little bit. So once again, this is that same plastic cardboard you can get from, I snag it out of the garbage, is where most of this has come from. If you ask grocery stores for any sort of plastic signage that they're throwing away, they'll, well, I've had success with that. I don't know if they all will, but if it's going in the garbage and you're like, no, I'm going to craft with it, honestly, what I do is I just explain what I'm doing, and I tell them that I'm building crazy terrain out of it, and they go, yeah, here, you can have it. Here's some more stuff too. It's only when only times when I've been like embarrassed. Yeah, I'm building little buildings for little plastic men. That's the only time that that I got turned down for, pulling recycling out of a recycling bin at a grocery store. But let's see how my hot glue's going. It still could warm up. I got this squared up. It's this other edge needs to be squared up a little bit, and that isn't the edge that's running against the corrugation striation marks or whatever they are in the that side. So I'm gonna cut it down just a little bit. And it can be a little bit smaller. That's not going to hurt it where it sits up on the top of that bottle. I know that the bottle is kind of out of camera shot right now, but you'll see it. I'll lift the camera up here in a bit when I go to put this. So there you go. That's a better shape. Just like to trim up a little bit more. Yeah, if you got a steady hand and a good razor, squaring these things up. Oh, and it's some sort of square or T or something. Making little squares out of these shouldn't be too difficult. And they make excellent building blocks. Like if you cut a bunch of strips in 3-inch wide or 3-inch tall strips, a bunch of those, then you can basically set up the same, like say you wanted this, you know, to spread this out more, you could cut little 3-inch sections and put it in between each one of these terrain kit pieces and extend the size of it, which is a really good idea to you know, make those kits go farther, which is basically what I'm doing here with these now for this stuff. I've done that for a long time. Actually, these are old GW kits from a long time ago. So anyways, I'm gonna glue this first one in here real good. That'll give me some structural integrity in that corner too, which I need. And this one in particular is probably going to be the strongest out of all of them because it's mounted right up against that wall. So I'll give you a little shot of it right there. You can see that I got hot glue all over the place. I don't like to leave. I don't mind getting hot glue all over the place as long as it's not that spherical, drippy glue that we all know how it looks. If you burnish up, if you rough the surface up of those blobs, it takes texture a lot better. It grabs onto sand or whatever kind of flocking a lot better. It is really hard to smooth out once you've burnished it like that. You basically have to heat it up and put more on top of it, but it looks a lot better than a weird snot blob of hot glue sticking out. Instead it's like, well, it is kind of like a little booger, huh? But anyways, we got that going. So then this is going to end up like right here. I don't know, can't really see, but I'll try to show you. So turn right here. There is this bottle is bumping this out just ever so slightly. So I would like to put a little bit of a curve into this piece. That will be done using a compass, which I would suggest to anybody if you're building industrial terrain to grab yourself a compass, because it's pretty easy to make squares, you know, with just a straight edge, but it's difficult to make good spheres or circles. So a compass does that for you. So this is a cool one. It has a little razor blade on one side and the point. So when I look at this, this is barely any. So I don't really know how I'm going to do this, and this might be just a total mistake, but I'm going to try to round that out just ever so slightly. We'll take the rest of the little frayed pieces off. My razor knife. Let's see if that just bumps in. So that was not quite enough. So we're gonna do that again. And now we took. I was afraid of, but that's okay. That's okay. We're not gonna worry about it. We're not gonna stress. We can fix it. And if we need to make a new piece, we can make a new piece. It is a little bit kind of like, don't worry, keep going, because you can make it look better. Here, let me show you how much I messed that up right there. So I just wanted a little curve out of it, and I ended up taking a pretty big chunk out of it. Now that might not be a bad thing. Maybe I run some vertical EVA foam on the bottle, and that would allow me, because I do like the way that it matches the curve. So I do think I am going to use this, even though it leaves me a little space. That's fine, because I think I can make that look cool. I think I can make that look cool. So we're going to stick with it. So the next step would be adding these extra supports. So I'm going to place one right here. And before I do that, a little bit of hot glue right there. A little bit of hot glue right here. So I'm in this end. As you can see, took me a second to get it where I want it, so there's going to be hot glue all smeared on the ground down there. That's fine. I will cover that in sand and coconut fiber. Of course, I ran out of hot glue sticks right when I needed it the most, but we're good. We're good. Let's re-up on the hot glue. Click. Okay, so that's all right. It's not nearly structurally sound as I would like it, but that's fine. Neither am I. Bam. So, let's see. I'll just give you a little bit better view. Get this compass out the way. Put some tools away. Don't need this no more. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and put these other two supports in here. Then I'll think about doing some, let it cool off, and think about doing some cross beams or something, which always add a good scaffolding effect if you do some cross beams. You know, some like beams going like that type of thing. So put a little weight on this so that it wants to stay that way for a little while. Boom. So we're gonna not mess with that for a minute just to get it you know, to cool off and get that glue set. Uh, Meantime, I gotta think about. I gotta get a better. Definitely going to get a better setup to hold my phone while I do the live streams because this is a little sad, and I do apologize. I really wish I could get it to stay there, but that is not gonna happen. So, sorry, dropped it right there on the ground. Do something like this. Let me give this a little more height. Sorry, super shaky camera. I'm totally fired. I apologize. Trying to get you a little bit better view of this. Is that better? Oh, oh. See, and I didn't make it better at all. Oh well, you can kind of see the height. So, plan. Now that you got a better view of the next spot I'm going to be working on, let's grab the little piece I'm going to end up putting up here. Plan. Which I love the way that looks. I don't know. You think I should try to do the circular cut again to match up against that? Let me give it an eyeball. It would be cool. Would be a cool thing to add a little bit of that curve. The issue I have with the curves is it's hard to find things that want to fit a curved surface. Like a flat surface, you can put anything straight, but but I could always use the EVA foam, which is a wonderful resource. So I'm not convinced that it needs it. Because it kind of matches this. There's another square right here. The big tall white building behind this. That's very square, and these kind of square up next to each other. So I kind of like the way it looks. So I don't think I'm going to try to curve any parts of it. So in that case, I can just hop right to trying to mount to give it some supports. And I talked a little bit earlier that I don't want these out at the corner like a scaffolding. I want them right up against the piece of wood or piece of wood. I want the piece of wood right up against the bottle. I feel like that will give this wobble bottle a little bit more structural integrity. And this cardboard box, I'm going to shift you a little bit. This cardboard box that it's on is hollow. So I'm pretty sure I can take the extra gap and drop it down. Now if you look, if we shift you back up, here's the top. It's almost exactly right at the bottle. And that's going to be back down here. See? So, that's like the perfect height for that almost. All I got to do is I got to drill some holes in this for these dowels to slide down. And this might wreck the whole thing. So, whenever you use a power tool on something that you've just hot glued together, that power tool might tear it apart. But I'm gonna go find myself a drill bit similar diameter to the stick I'm using. Here, let me get the camera so you can see that that's a little bit smaller, but that's all right. It'll work. So I'm going to put it on there, and I'm gonna do a little bit of alignment. And as I've said before, I eyeball most of my stuff, but I got a good eye, so it works out for me. Measurement for people, if you're a person that has to do that, I say do it. I have nothing against it. I just have a tendency not to, and that might be my, me trying to cut corners, because we all cut corners somewhere. Um, or it could be like my own inner anarchist of hating structure. I don't know what it is, but I just eyeball stuff. I'm gonna say it's the laziness. It's the cutting corners thing, because that's really why I do it, because I can measure everything. I've built stuff that way before. It's just not as enjoyable. So I'm gonna go slow here, and you can watch me wreck this whole piece. Oh, one was good. Oh, that one might have gone too fast. No, that's good. You go for 3. Of course, I'm saving the hardest one for last. So this one, I gotta shove the drill motor behind the whole thing that I just built. So I might pop it apart, but we'll see. I think I got this. Okay, so let's see. Set that aside. What did we break? We might have knocked this around a little bit, made that a little bit more wobbly, but we are going to adhere it to that thing, to this white box. So that's not a big deal. I left it intentionally some space, because I like to wrap these and put I like to put EVA foam on them, so that is why I like to leave a little space between this. After I put the EVA foam, I can put the joint right there hidden behind this box, and then push it and glue it together. So that's in the future. But let's see how we did with these dowels. I'm going to give you a little bit better of a view. So it looks like that one is good. Oh, that one's pretty good. Pretty good. Now, before I glue these, so first of all, that's going to make this way more structurally stable, because these are all the ways down to the board. And if I really wanted if I did this with more forethought and not as slapdash haphazard, I could drill holes in this wooden board and glue these right in there. And I have done that with other pieces. The other piece I'm working on has a big chunk of styrofoam on it, and I definitely drilled into the board to mount the styrofoam, because this styrofoam breaks really easy. So even though you put all this weight onto it, and all of a sudden it, with all the detail, all of a sudden you've snapped it. So but this is looking pretty good to me. I feel like, what do we think? Do we think we need EVA foam underneath these, making a little bit of gap between the or do we want EVA foam around the whole thing, make it seem like it's buckled in there? I kind of like that. I kind of like the EVA foam around the whole thing, like it's buckled in there, which would allow me to also wrap the bottom of this with EVA foam, giving a nice transition between these two. So that's cool. So I think what I need to do is I need to glue each one of these rods down in here. So we're gonna start with whichever one I can get out first. We'll do a generous helping of hot glue. It's gonna end up not in the hole because that's how it goes. It's alright though. Wipe that away, adds a little texture. Bam, so that's good in there. I think for this one, I'm gonna try different. I got shove a bunch of hot glue in the hole first. Bam. Okay. Looking good, looking good. Try these last two. You can tear through this pretty quick, I think. This is my third live stream today. Like I said, I have been enjoying the live streams. I wanted to try to give my United States friends a moment maybe to catch the live stream, because doing it earlier in the day, I know that a lot of people are not able to catch the stream, so I wanted to do one in the afternoon or evening just to see how that goes over. So bam, I got these dowels in there. Let's go ahead and I think mounting, let's think. So I think I'll probably just do one strap here and one strap here. EVA. And when I say strap, I'm going to do like a wrapping of EVA foam. So I'll just put some glue here because I know that that's going to get covered by the EVA foam strap. So I'll just glue all of these dowels to the bottle. And then I'll cover that where that hot glue is on that. Where the hot glue is really exposed on the bottle. You do have to be careful too, because I have found that the hot glue is like too hot sometimes and will melt the different plastic bottles when I've put it on it. So you do have to be careful in that sense. It's cool because I'm going to wrap the whole thing in EVA. Probably not in this video. I'll probably do that tomorrow. So if you're around and you want to catch tomorrow's stream, I'll definitely try to blast one off earlier in the day tomorrow. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and... So these aren't lined up perfectly because I eyeballed it. So there's that. But I don't really care. I think it looks pretty dang good. So this one... Here's the other thing too. I don't know. I'll slide this in a little bit closer. Can I focus? You can see that there is a gap on the top of one of those dowels. It doesn't fit perfectly, but we're gonna do a EVA foam wrap around right here at the top too, so that will cover any sort of mistake there and give that even more support. You can see how much less wobbly it is now. Like when I first started, before I put these dowels in, this thing was shaking all over the place. Now it's less wobbly than the main structural part, so we're definitely gonna have to fix that. But I'm gonna go ahead and glue this thing on. Hopefully it won't warp the top of this bottle too much. Not too bad if it does, because, you know, the underhive is a little warped. But, well, and as I said before, feel free to shout out in the chat if you got any questions or anything. I love to communicate with you all. It's very inspiring to me. So that's a thing. And boom. So that's pretty good. I do have to sand this too, and might put another layer on that. I don't know if I'm gonna do that on camera because I'll probably bust out the vacuum cleaner and while I'm doing it, so it will be too loud while I do that. So I'll do that off time. But looks pretty good. We got these two platforms set in. I'll give you guys kind of a better view of what we worked on today and yesterday. So obviously the top of it isn't going to get a platform, but we have a platform here, another one just a hair higher. This one is just about what, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th floor of a building. So if you fall off that in Necromunda, that's probably going to kill you. But you know, that's the adventurous part. We got another platform here, and we'll probably do the pathway being like, imagine a ladder here going up, and then a ladder here going up. So I'll definitely have to craft those, so while you're looking at it, you can come. So that lies another question. How do you get up here? Of course, you can always climb the 3 inches to get up here, but should I put a ladder or something on the interior? Or should I do a ladder that, you know, is back here, behind here, and then the other one to the side of it? That's another idea. Maybe I'll sleep on that. But I think for this video we're pretty good. So I'm gonna sign off. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. If you catch my live stream, I'll try to do a couple of them. I've been trying to do them about an hour long, give or take, depending on what I have to do, and how long I can sit in this hot basement. But other than that, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking my stuff out. You can watch any of my other videos I did a bunch of Mordheim. I'm now delving into Necromunda, which is basically my favorite genre of terrain to build. So definitely hang out, do the like, subscribe, notification thing if you are, you know, into that sort of thing and want to get the notifications of when I go live. Other than that, thanks to the 0 people that are in my room. You guys are all awesome. Have a good night.